Today, I'm going to narrow down what the best or most optimal controller and button layout for Smash 4 is. I'm not going to factor in personal preference, like what you're familiar with, what feels right, or what feels better. These are completely subjective. Instead, we're going to compare the controls 100% objectively, meaning which control schemes are superior because it allows for the fastest execution with the least amount of inputs, and which controllers are better based on the physical design. I'll be covering a lot in this video, so I left some timestamps in the description in case you want to skip to a specific comparison. With that said, let's begin. First, tap jump on versus tap jump off. Difference number 1 is up smashing and up being out of shield. With tap jump on, you only have to hit 2 inputs, up in A or up in B. With tap jump off, you must hit an extra input, which is jump, so that'll be 1 point for tap jump on. Difference number 2 is double sticking. Double sticking is the ability to force a short hop while buffering an aerial during a jump squat. This guarantees that your aerial will come out on the first frame after you leave the ground. To do this with tap jump on, you have to hit up, then hit the right stick anytime during your character's jump squat animation. It's the same thing with tap jump off, but you must hit your jump button and up at the same time, then your right stick. A YouTuber named Remzi made a detailed video about this tech, which I've linked in the description. So that's 2 points for tap jump on. Difference number 3 is the speed at which you can tilt your shield up. Tap jump off users will always be able to tilt their shield fully upwards, faster than a tap jump on user, since any faster would make their character jump. 1 point for tap jump off. Difference number 4 is simply tap jump. A common reason players turn tap jump off is to avoid accidentally inputting a double jump, usually when doing an up air or an up B. Tap jump off users don't have to worry about this. So that's 2 points for tap jump off. Now let's move on to the right stick. We're going to look at smash attack and attack first, then special. Difference number 1 is automatic smashes or tilts. With the right stick set to smash attacks are made easier, but you must perform tilts manually. Also, you won't be able to buffer tilts out of a perfect pivot. When it's set to attack, tilts are easier, but you won't be able to buffer smashes out of a perfect pivot, and all smash attacks must be done manually. The pros and cons here are pretty equal. Do you want easier smashes or easier tilts? So I'll give this one a tie. Difference number 2 is aerial momentum loss. If you hold the right stick when it's set to smash, you won't be able to move your character at all, meaning anytime you do an aerial with the right stick in the air, you'll lose momentum depending on how long you hold it. The best you can do is flick the right stick for no more than 1 frame to minimize the momentum loss. In contrast, with the right stick set to attack, no momentum is ever lost when doing an aerial. 2 points for tilt. Difference number 3 is an instant dash attack. With attack stick, hit forward to initiate a dash, then immediately hit your right stick in any direction. What will happen is your dash attack will come out instantly. If you try to do this with smash stick, a smash attack will always come out. 3 points for tilt. Difference number 4 is a buffered up air. With attack stick, you'll be able to buffer an up air from a jump squat, but with smash stick, an up smash will always come out instead. This applies for double sticking too, meaning you can't double stick up air with smash on. That's 4 points for tilt. Difference number 5 is C-bouncing. The ability to C-bounce is only possible with the right stick set to attack. This is essentially a grounded wave bounce. To do this, run forwards, then press special, and hit back with your right stick at the same time. This tech works for these characters. Check the description for more about C-bouncing on Smashboards. And this doesn't work for smash stick. 5 points for tilt. Difference number 6 is diagonal tilting. By hitting the right stick into one of the corners when it's set to attack, a neutral attack will come out. This will allow you to do frame perfect jab cancels with ease by holding your left stick down, then flicking the right stick into the corner. This can also be applied to neutral airs. You might not notice it, but normally you'll lose a bit of momentum when performing a neutral air, because your left stick must return to neutral position when pressing A. With diagonal tilting, you can continue holding your left stick while hitting the right stick in the corner to do a neutral air, and still retain all your momentum. This won't work for the smash stick, and that'll be 6 points for tilt. To sum it up, from an objective point of view, setting your right stick to attack offers the most benefits. Whether tap jump should be on or off is up to you and what you value. But remember, at the end of the day, choose the control scheme that best suits your playstyle. As for setting your right stick to special, this is completely up to you, since it offers its own pros and cons. What you'll be foregoing is all the things I've mentioned with smash stick and attack stick. You also won't be able to do retreating back airs and fast falling up airs optimally. The unique perk on the other hand is being able to perform easy aerial wave bounces and B reverses. Also, if you ever wanted to pick up Beto, learning to use special stick will be a huge asset. As for the rest of the buttons, I'll cover them as we get into the controllers. I've narrowed down the most optimal controllers down to 3: the GameCube controller, the Wiimote and Nunchuck, and the Wii U Pro Controller, which also includes its equivalents. First, let's compare these two. Difference number 1 are the triggers. If we take a closer look at the L and R triggers on the GameCube controller, you'll see that they're supported by springs. They act as analog triggers until fully pressed, at which point a digital signal will be sent. In Melee, the analog portion of the triggers would summon a light shield, but there's no such mechanic in Smash 4. Hence, using L and R to shield is slightly slower than using a digital button, because of the distance your finger needs to travel before the digital signal is sent. This goes for whatever input you assign those triggers, not just shield. The Pro controllers on the other hand are fully digital, so shield or whatever input you assign them comes out instantly. So that's 1 point for Pro controllers. Just to note, if you insist on using L or R triggers for shielding on the GameCube controller, I suggest assigning one of your face buttons to shield so you can at least mash air dodge out of combos more efficiently, such as Bayonetta's. Difference number 2 is the ridges. As you can see, both the left stick and the right stick on the GameCube controller have octagonal ridges around them. This can be beneficial for hitting specific directional inputs, such as jab cancels and reuse manual input moves. The Wii U Pro Controller doesn't have this, unless you use the Wii Classic Pro Controller. 1 point for the GameCube controller. Difference number 3 is the extra button. The GameCube controller has a total of 10 assignable buttons, while the Pro Controller has 11. The extra button isn't a necessity, but it can come in handy. One prominent example is Beto. 1 point for the Pro Controller. Difference number 4 is input lag. A YouTuber named Alan P did a very good latency test between the GameCube and Pro Controller, which I've linked in the description. Out of about 1,000 tests in a low wireless noise environment, the result was that 55% of the time, an input from the Pro Controller would come out 1 frame slower than the GameCube controller. For the majority of the remaining 45%, the moves came out on the same frame. In an environment with more wireless devices, such as a large tournament, the input lag may increase. Unfortunately, plugging in the Pro Controller doesn't solve this issue, since the USB cable only transfers power, not data. 2 points for the GameCube controller. Difference number 5 is the location of the right joystick. On the GameCube controller, it's at the bottom left, and top right on the Pro. But you're probably asking, what difference does this make? Well, technically speaking, it'll always take a bit more time for you to hit the right stick upwards and rightwards on the GameCube controller, since you must move your thumb in 2 directions. In contrast, downwards and leftwards will be faster, since you only need to move your thumb in 1 direction. For the Pro Controller, it's the exact opposite. Upwards and rightwards will be faster, while downwards and leftwards will be slower. The trade-off is equal, so it's a tie. However, this issue can be solved on both sides by using one of your triggers to jump, or using a claw grip. Speaking of claw grip, it's technically the most optimal way of holding a controller, since it allows instant access to all buttons. Now let's talk about the objective pros and cons of using the Wiimote and Nunchuck. One advantage lies in the D-pad. You can assign smashes here, which makes inputs for smash attacks slightly faster than using a joystick. Your character will also suffer no momentum loss when doing aerials with the D-pad, while still retaining the luxury of automatic smash attacks. However, a disadvantage with this controller is that it forces you to input 2 buttons for one of a few very common actions. The reason for this is because there's significantly less buttons than a GameCube or Pro controller. Overall, it's a tie between the GameCube and the Wii U Pro controller, and the Wiimote Nunchuck has its own unique pros and cons. Decide on the controller based on what perks benefits your playstyle. The reason why I didn't talk about the Wiimote by itself and the 3DS is because they offer no extra benefits, while on top of that having disadvantages, such as the lack of trigger buttons and the lack of a joystick. I'm aware there are also third-party controllers, but I'm not covering them because from my experience, the dead zones on those joysticks are a bit wonky. Perhaps I was unlucky, who knows. Also, on a side note, if you go to tournaments and use a Wii U Pro controller, keep your batteries out and just use a USB cable to connect to the Wii U, so that you don't have to worry about forgetting to desync every time. As for Wiimote and Nunchuck users, simply take out the batteries when you leave the Wii U. Okay, so this pretty much wraps up my comparison of the controllers and input layouts. I can't stress enough, but I want you to look at the pros and cons I've mentioned, and decide based around what's important to your playstyle. Also, I was gonna include other Beto controls in this video, but it was getting a bit too long, so I'll cover it sometime in the future. With that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again soon.